If you've been in this yo-yo dieting cycle, you don't need another plan. You need a different relationship with the plan that you already have. I've been maintaining this 70-pound loss, and I want to talk about the real reason I'm not scared that I'll gain it back anymore. It's not because I have perfect discipline, because life be lifing sometimes. It's because I don't think about it the same way that I used to. There is a mindset shift that has to happen in order for you honestly not to gain it back. So let's get into it. I want to say something up front. I'm not here to tell you that maintenance is easy or that I never have hard weeks, because we all do. What's different now is what happens in my head during those times. And that's what I want to walk you through today, because the habits absolutely matter, but the mindset is what helps the habits actually stick when life gets hard. For the most part of my life, I identified as someone who was trying to lose weight. That was my story. I was working on it. I'm like, it's going to be a good week. We're doing 2-a-days. We're doing vegetarian. We're going to get this weight up off of us. It was always, I fell off or I had a cheat day, but we're going to get back on track next week. The diet literally was always quite literally the main character. Something that changed everything wasn't a new diet. It wasn't a new plan. It was honestly just a new identity. I stopped being the girl who was always on a diet, because honestly, y'all, that's exhausting. And I started being the girl who actually just lives this way. Like, this is a part of my daily regular scheduled routine. I am someone who doesn't exercise or walk every day because I'm trying to lose weight. It is just something that I do. I like to move my body because it makes me feel good, and not someone who just eats balanced meals because I'm on a diet or it looks cute or it's healthy, but because it actually nourishes me and I know it works and it makes me feel good. This actually might sound small to say out loud, but honestly, I have made the things that I've done throughout this journey my new normal. When you identify as someone who is only disciplined right now in this phase or this season, every hard moment ends up becoming a threat in your story. When your identity shifts to this is just how I live, a hard week just becomes a hard week. It doesn't hold any weight to who you are. It's just a hard week. I got a comment on one of my videos of a viewer saying that weight loss is 90% mental, and it took her years to even realize that. And guess what? She's absolutely right. The crazy thing is the mind is so powerful, but once you make the decision in your mind, your body just follows suit. So let me be honest about the fear of actually gaining it back, because I think a lot of people pretend that it actually goes away, and it doesn't fully go away. There are moments when I usually have a stressful week or life is just chaotic to where those fears start to creep back in. But the thing is about fear is not the problem. It is what you do with the fear that's the problem. The old version of myself would spiral after a bad week, and then that would send me weeks into a binge spree, and then I'll have to do this big whole grand reset. Literally hard weeks would become I lose control, or I might as well just enjoy myself anyway because life is lifing. And slowly but surely, 2 weeks of not caring will quickly add up to 20 pounds on the body. Hard. I've personally lived that cycle, and I know many of you have as well. Now when that fear starts to kind of come back, I treat it as information and not a verdict. It's not anything definite. It's my body telling me that I have drifted just a little bit and it's time to reel it back in, and not like start over, just come back to doing your regular schedule program. And that's the difference, because starting over means last week was a complete failure. Coming back, just reeling yourself back in, that is just simply course correcting. And one of those keeps you in the game while the other one actually restarts you and puts you back on level 1. I think the biggest thing about maintenance is actually believing that it is a finish line. There's no finish line in sight. I'm gonna just be real with you. People get into the mindset of, oh, I lose the weight, I get to my goal number, and I just kind of exist there. And I'm gonna just be real. That's not what maintenance is at all. Maintenance is really kind of just like a different version of the same practice that you've been doing already. I feel like the stakes kind of feel lower. You have like less pressure on yourself because you're not chasing some magical number all the time. But in retrospect, you do need to make sure you know your maintenance calories, so you know to not go above them, because going above your maintenance calories results in weight gain. So for me, maintenance looks like still walking every day, still making sure I get my 10K steps, finding YouTube videos for strength training or Pilates. I actually just started back up my gym membership because I just love the Stairmasters. So I go to the gym when I want a little bit of extra intensity, but I have created a workout space in my home to make it honestly just more convenient and sustainable for me, because if you live in Dallas, you know the traffic, and having barriers to execution as far as getting to the gym is not good to have in any kind of journey. I'm not existing in a place to where I feel like, oh, I'm just trying to get through, I'm just trying to make it through, but I'm also not in a space to where I'm just on autopilot, because I still think you need to be conscious, because old beliefs and patterns can hop back in anytime soon. Maintenance requires just enough attention to keep you from drifting back into your old ways, but without requiring so much of you that it becomes exhausting. The reason for my low intensity approach of not going so hard works for me so much in maintenance is because it actually worked the same way when I was in the weight loss journey. It's not something that is hard to sustain. Anything that is hard to sustain is going to be hard to keep up with. If you are not excited to do something, if it is hard, if it is so many barriers to get to where you're trying to go, and you're just not gonna go. And see, I'm not in a place where I'm like maintaining on just willpower alone. I'm actually just maintaining out of habit of, oh, this is my new life, this is my regular schedule program. I do these things to make me feel good. I'm really to the point to where a daily walk used to feel like, oh, let me make sure I get my steps in, let me make sure I'm moving my body, to now it's just like, I like to do this just on a regular Tuesday to spend time with myself. Put my headphones on, listen to a podcast, and just walk it out. The one thing that I keep coming back to and really just realizing is, if you never quit, you never have to start over. It sounds very simple, but living it is an actual different thing, because the thing about our brains is they're required to view mistakes as if they are a stop. We need to regroup, we need to redo, we need to restart, we need to do it again. And that's just not true. Sometimes our brain goes so black and white. All right, you ate off your meal plan, now you're off the plan. You missed a walk, now you become someone who doesn't walk. If you continuously stop and restart and become the old identity, the old version of yourself over and over and over again, you're not going to make any traction. You're not going to make any movement. And that's the trap of it all. And that's why I want you guys to hold this rule close to you. The next meal is always a reset point. It's not Monday, it's the next meal. That's why something that I swear by here on my channel is just get back to your regular schedule program. And I don't mean get back to your regular schedule program on a Monday. The next meal is always the restart point. Not Monday, not next week, not next month. The next meal. Here's the thing, you don't need a clean slate. You just need to keep doing what you're doing. And you fell off a little bit at breakfast, so guess what? Lunch and dinner just need to be on point and back to the regular schedule. I've had weekends where it was just a lot. I've had vacations to where I just ate whatever I wanted. Months where work was so heavy that basically my whole routine fell completely apart. Every single time I came back, but because I just kept going from wherever I already was. I didn't have this grand old reset. So I know a lot of us have spent years, 10 years, 15 years doing this whole yo-yo dieting thing. It don't even gotta be like that. Restarting has never been the answer. It's just continuing doing what you do. So let's talk about what this looks like practically. Everything has a little bit of flex to it. I have weeks to where I'm like fully on, we're fully eating healthy, we're fully going to the gym multiple times a week. But then other weeks look completely different. I'm ordering Domino's, or I'm going to Cane's, or I'm having Chick-fil-A all in the same week. And on top of eating crazy, sometimes the workouts even are bare minimum as well. But both of those weeks are actually just fine for me, because during that time, I am still making sure I move my body. And guess what? At the next meal, we're still locking back in. We're not having Starbucks for breakfast. We're not having Chick-fil-A for lunch and Domino's for dinner. That is a catastrophic day. Like I said, we just get back to the program on the next meal. I am in a space to where I don't weigh myself every day like I used to, but definitely in the beginning, I weighed myself to keep myself in check. But now I know I'm not eating crazy. I'm not going over maintenance. I know I should not be gaining any substantial amount of weight. So I do get on maybe once a week for a check-in or just to like have it, but I don't necessarily weigh myself every single day anymore. I might get to a space to where sometimes I might feel sluggish. Sometimes if I do fluctuate up in weight, my clothes will start to fit different. But guess what? I know what I need to do. I just need to tighten up a few things. I might need to step a little little bit more. I might need to clean up the diet a little bit more, but it's not something to where it's like the end of the world and I'm just going to go on a downward spiral and I'm just going to continue to eat and get bigger. Like, that makes no sense. So now I'm in a space where I'm like, for me as a short girl, 5 pounds makes a huge freaking difference. For example, I went to Detroit, I want to say 2 weeks ago. My great grandmother passed away. And honestly, I do think environment plays a huge role in weight loss, because the moment I got in Detroit, I could not stop eating. I gained 8 pounds in Detroit. Not even gonna lie. But I've been back to Dallas 2 weeks now, and the 8 pounds are gone, because guess what? We got back to our regular scheduled program. I didn't go on some extreme like diet, or I didn't start going to spin class. I literally just started back walking and just got back to my meals. So the thing is, we will always have signals to let us know, all right, you getting a little bit too far. It's time to reel it back in. There will be signs for you to not go off the deep end. So pay attention. Honestly, the best way that I probably can describe maintenance as a just very quiet, arrived feeling. I do think last year I was so adamant and particular about I have to fit in my dress. I spent a long time in a deficit that I probably didn't necessarily need to be in a deficit, but being short is not no room for wiggle room and playing with calories. So I made sure I stayed on top of it. But after the wedding, I definitely felt like I fell more in that maintenance phase. And it feels so much less chaotic, but it's also very peaceful, because now it's just like I am just living my life and I'm not trying to shrink myself to fit into my life, if that makes sense. The reason that I'm not scared to gain the weight back and some isn't because I'm immune to hard systems, because I just told you guys, 2 weeks ago, I gained 8 pounds. But internally, I have changed the person that I am. I have a new identity. And I mean, life, and shit happens. And you fall back into old patterns. And hell, I was grieving. So I gained the 8 pounds. But guess what? When I got back to Dallas, I found myself again. I came back home to myself. I reeled it back in real quick, because I could have easily fallen into grief and just been like, oh, my great grandmother passed away, I'm just gonna gain weight. That makes no sense. And that's not gonna make her happy in heaven, because the last time she saw me, she's like, girl, you look good. Body look good. So that is what I am going to continue to do. I'm going to continue to be the person that I worked hard to be and show up as that person because of the identity shift that I made. I cannot let life happen and fall back into old patterns. It makes no sense if you have already arrived at the future version of yourself that you once wanted to be. All in all, just to sum all that up, stop making things a big deal. Stop starting over and just continue at the next meal. You mess up, just start over at the next meal. It's not a big deal. But the more and more you put attention on the mistakes, the more the mistakes are going to keep happening. Honestly, the more you put attention to negative things, the more that they grow. So just stop giving it so much attention. It's not a big deal. If you've been in this yo-yo dieting cycle, you don't need another plan. You need a different relationship with the plan that you already have. So I want you guys to drop in the comment, what is the mindset shift that made the biggest difference for you? I really enjoy reading everything that people say. I enjoy seeing everyone interact. So please let me know down in the comments below a mindset shift that has made the biggest difference in your journey. And so anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.